Hello everyone, it's Jeffrey Jr. and welcome to one of the finales of Huffman's House of Horrors. And today I'm going to be uploading all three of the remaining Huffman's House of Horrors things I planned to do in October, but I couldn't because I was busy with other stuff in my life. But anyways, also my living quarters has been redesigned. But enough about that. Time to begin our first audio story. It's called Deaths in the Family. Let's begin. Once upon a lovely day, young Bruce Wayne was playing in his mansion's backyard when he fell through some wooden planks and fell into a cave full of bats. He had trypophobia when he was a kid, not knowing of his destiny to become the Batman. A few minutes later, his dad, Thomas Wayne, went in and picked him up. In his room, Bruce was visited by Tom, and the dad said, "You know why we fall down, son?" To which the kid said, "No." And he said, "So we learn to pick ourselves back up again." That night, Bruce and his parents went to see The Mark of Zorro, one of Bruce's favorite films, with one of his all-time favorite heroes. As they exited, his mom, Martha Wayne, said to Bruce, "So Bruce, how was it?" To which Bruce said, "It was awesome." And they cut through Park Row, now known as Crime Alley, to meet up with their rendezvous point with their butler, Alfred Pennyworth. But when they were almost there, when a man walked up and pointed his revolver at them. "What's this?" said Thomas Wayne. "A stick-up, buddy," said the man, who was Joseph Chilton, or Joe Chill. "I'll take your wallet and that woman's purse and that necklace you're wearing, lady." Then Thomas Wayne said, "Leave her alone." But he pointed and he shot him. "No, Tom, run, bro." But before she could finish, Chilton shot her as well. And he walked up to the boy and said, "You see, kid, this is what happens when you try to be the hero." And just walked away. To say Bruce was devastated would be an understatement. A big understatement. He went to the police station where a kindly man, who was soon to be James Gordon, who would later become the commissioner, who was just an officer back then, comforted him and said that someone was there to see him. And it was Alfred. And he took Bruce back to Wayne Manor. Throughout the next several years, Bruce became an outcast. After he finished school, he dropped out of life. He secluded himself in his manor. But though he wanted to avenge his parents by becoming a superhero, his fortune meant he could buy anything, but he needed a symbol. He couldn't just come out in a mask and beat people up. Then a bat flew in, and he decided he would follow himself after bats. So he trained for a few years in martial arts places all around the world, including one led by Henry the Card, who would later become Ra's al Ghul, one of his enemies, ironically. When he returned, he and Alfred began to work on creating Batman. They made a suit which is armored, and it was more armored than not like your typical spandex. Made the Batmobile a highly functional car, and made the Batcomputer a highly advanced piece of computer hardware that couldn't be found anywhere else in the world. In fact, Alfred once jokingly said, "You know, if anyone knew you were Batman, this computer would have won me a Nobel Peace Prize." Also, they had to get several versions of the armor used to make the Batsuit and everything else because they didn't want to appear suspicious, but at least they had spares. And on his first night of crime, Batman stopped a mugging. his first crime. He, and, uh, and later throughout the year, he also faced on the Gotham's biggest crime bosses, Carmine Falcone, Rupert Thorne, and Salvatore Maroni. Then he met his first real villain, Carl Kruger, aka Dr. Death, and his henchmen. They clashed several times, but in the last one, Kruger was arrested and sent to Arkham, where he still remains to this day and never escaped, save for a breakout that occurred a couple months ago. At the end of the year, he met his first two real costume supervillains, the Joker and the Penguin. And by costume, I mean they have spandex. So they had business suits, like they usually do. And I think I should leave it there for Huffman's House of Horrors. So it's not really scary, but more sad and epic. And also, next will be my last creepypasta reading. And after that, I'll be going to my last video for Huffman's House of Horrors and my second audio story, Case of the Calendar Man. So stay tuned for that. As always, remember y'all, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, y'all.